Hey, Tracy.
Hey,
Hey, Dino. Why was the math book so sad?
why?
Why?
It had so many problems.
Oh, hey, Lisa, how are
Hello.
you?
Good. How are you?
Good. That was a cool dad joke. That was kind of a groaner, but I loved it. So thank you.
Was a groaner. What's a groaner?
A typical dad joke.
Mm-hmm. Some are more elaborate than others. Yeah.
Absolutely. And oh my gosh, we've got so many great people. CM, and
Yeah.
Connie, and Kat. I saw RTN. Oh, and look, there's Dino, the Late Late Horror Show.
Yes.
Oh, and Horror Junkie.
I know. How can I be in the chat and here at the same time? It's so weird.
Doppelganger. Oh, who
Hi,
else?
Sean. Kathy. Yeah,
Oh,
the chat was super active before we even started up. You all have a lot of
absolutely.
energy tonight. Hi, Rich Cat. Chad.
Oh, the
Um,
donuts have been making my
yeah.
belly, a little bit
Yeah.
starving. Oh, and WWM, Mark Smith. And oh my gosh, you'll have to pardon me. I don't want to miss anybody, but
I know.
you
I don't
know,
want to miss anybody either.
hello to everybody. NS Tom. Oh yes. Oh, I think that's my brother. Hello,
Oh,
NS Tom.
cool.
Yeah, you better say hello to him. Hey, Tom, what's up? Tracy's brother. Yeah, first. From the late hour show.
That's right. So there's your shout out. My goodness. So yes, and you'll notice I am a little bit different here tonight. Spontaneous combustion. I might.
Playing off the theme. Playing off the theme.
That's right. So I'm going for the gamer girl look tonight. I'm actually not streaming from home. I'm actually here at an airport hotel. So part of me, I'm working with only half kind of equipment here tonight.
Yeah, Tracy's a Twitch person now. Yeah, she's going to stream and play games. Woo.
So we're here to talk about urban legends. So
Yeah, Chad's already got it started with the old spontaneous combustion urban legend, which is a classic, absolute classic.
it is. That's like one of the big ones,
Hmm.
absolutely. So, did you want to start and maybe give a little history lesson about the urban legends and give a little bit of background about how studied urban legends?
Yeah, well, I am no expert. However, I have this book. Now it goes back about 20 years, but it was written by a professor in Utah and it's called Too Good to Be True, the Colossal Book of Urban Legends. Because back in the day, I loved urban legends so much. And I was thinking, I mean, college was a million years ago, but I
Mhm.
think I did like a paper on urban legends, or maybe I took a folklore class and it was a topic on the syllabus. Um, but yeah, I mean, from the little bits that I remember and am familiar with, it's really in the genre of folklore. And, when
That's
you think
right.
about it, how before we had paper, things were passed down orally, oral traditions are so
Mhm.
ancient. And so it makes a lot of sense to me that, these stories, it's kind of like, these stories would get passed on and some of the details would change because it's like a game of telephone, right?
That's
You
right.
don't remember all of the details, or there might be regional twists to it or something like that.
Can we play telephone after we're done talking about urban legends?
Let's hope so. I've got
Like a
cans and
tin
string.
can.
I've
I
got
want to
cans
play
and string.
telephone.
That's right.
But it's kind of cool that these stories, like at least for a period, stood the test of time,
Mhm.
and they would kind of maintain their structure. their integrity, but details would change. It'd get a little smushed around, kind of like if you have I don't know, like an eyewitness to something that happens, 3 different people are going to tell you 3 slightly different stories because they were standing in different places or they remembered differently or whatever. But yeah, or the urban legend sits squarely in the folklore tradition. And
Mhm.
from my understanding, the oral tradition. And so I'm definitely no expert, but that's a bit of what I remember, because this book, for example, has urban legends by category, not by country
Nice.
or region or anything, but like the type, the general topic, and then it would kind of riff off of that. So
Oh, very
depending on what
cool.
your mood's in, you can find
Mhm.
an urban legend to kind of scratch that itch. So
Oh my goodness. Hello, Zachariah. Welcome to the Late Late Horse Show channel. I see you say you're new, and Roger and Grant. And sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Lisa.
no,
Oh,
I
I
think
like
we
when
need
my
to keep the
scratch
shout out
gets.
going.
I like
Oh,
when my scratch gets itched.
who let him in? Who let him in?
I
I
don't know. I don't have control over that. If I had like this little magic button, I only have the one that says where I can leave the stream. But if I won't hit that though.
I
But
will say it's great to have all control.
Oh my gosh. I mean, wouldn't it be kind of fun a little bit as long as he doesn't get hurt? Like there's like an eject button and like it's a rocket ship and he goes up out of the chair, and I want to see that. I would definitely
oh,
want to see that.
wait for Halloween. Who knows what will happen, right?
Oh my
So,
word.
researching urban legends. Oh, Silver
Mhm.
Bullet. Is Silver Bullet a legend? Ginger. It will be a legend on this channel, an urban legend on this channel, that's for sure. Um, when I
I'm
was
sorry, Tracy, but yeah, the urban legend. 2 years from now, people will talk about. There was a silver bullet trivia night? And some weird things happened then, but they couldn't find it. So yeah, it will be an urban legend. Sorry, Ginger.
see if I had control, I would mute that. No, I'm kidding.
I love how he says it, then he says sorry. He pops out, but then he's not sorry because he shows up again. So
And that's okay.
that's okay
Oh,
with us.
that is okay. Oh my goodness. Let me see here. And yeah, so one of the urban legends, like when I was researching, um, there's like so many, but one of the ones that as a kid and even as an adult that I always believed was that Walt Disney, he was frozen, cryogenically frozen, so he could be
Right.
brought back, in the future. And up until last night, I thought that was true. That's bad
Wow.
on me. But you
Now
know what?
see,
It's not. An
Now, see,
urban
that's interesting because talking about like variation, again, I am no
legend.
scholar in this. This is just vague recollections and glancing in the book. But the way I heard it was they only cryogenically saved his head. So that makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, and I love that RTN made a reference that I know as well. I know very well the House of Blue Lights in
Oh,
Indianapolis.
what is that
Yes.
about? Yes, because you guys are kind of both from the same area. What is that about, actually?
Well, it was more known by my parents' generation because I
Mhm,
don't know that the house exists still. RTN can say something maybe in the chat about that.
mhm.
But it was pretty straightforward, I think, that there was this house that would have this ghostly blue light. Kids would go late at night and
Oh,
to
wow.
check it out and that kind of thing. So yeah, it was kind of a ghostly inhabitation, and had all the young people around on the run trying to check it out and everything. So
Oh,
we'll see if
wow.
RTN puts any more details because different generations have more
Mhm.
familiarity with it. Like my parents knew about it instantly, but like it wasn't really an urban legend that flew around. I'm a Gen Xer and it didn't really flow
Yes.
around for us. Yeah, RTN,
Yeah.
the house is gone now, but
Oh,
I think it was
wow.
owned by a famous family, and yeah,
Oh,
very
interesting.
creepy. Very
And I
creepy.
think who was it? Was it Kat that just said, the screaming bridge? Oh, that sounds kind of interesting too. I think the comment is gone, but, the screaming bridge. So Did you want? Oh,
Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
urban legend with the screaming bridge, the people would like if you were to speed a little bit too fast on the bridge, is what the urban legend was that the bridge
Hmm.
would actually holler back at them. So that's why it got the screaming bridge. Like, slow down!
Whoa.
Wow. Would you like to start with one of your stories, or would you like me to start with one of mine? Because I'll just let everybody know in advance that I chose a couple of kind of local urban legends from Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Oh, the blue lights were actually
The
lights in the swimming
swimming
pool.
pool. Oh, even better.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Well, why don't you start with one and then I'll share one and then you might have an extra one.
Okay, that sounds great. So, oh look, CM talks about the Mothman. That one is actually pretty cool too.
Didn't they make a movie out of that?
They
Mom?
did.
Yeah.
They did.
Oh God, yeah, you can do a whole stream just on. I know, no joke. You can do a whole stream on Mothman. I mean, just the entire show could take up Mothman. I mean, there's so
Right.
many. I mean, that goes on
Absolutely.
even today. I mean,
Hmm.
there are sporadic sightings of the Mothman. But anyways, great
Absolutely.
show, ladies.
So, okay. Well, I'm going to talk about the ghost ship of the Northumberland Strait. So, this is based in Pictou County. And I'm just going to refer to some notes, and Dino will flash up a couple of pictures. Um, so, let me see here. Oh, there we go. There he goes. So, in 1786, the ghost ship of the Northumberland Strait was first spotted. So you can see there, it's in the area in a body of water that separates Nova Scotia and New Brunswick from Prince Edward Island. So the ship is described as a beautiful tall ship with her masts out in full sail. And, you know, the historical accounts from witnesses state that they see the ship off on the horizon in full sail, but the ship is on fire. So witnesses claim that they could see men climbing the masts, and you could see right there. So climbing the mast to try to escape and get away from the burning wreckage. But when the rescuers from off on the shore went out to try to save these people, the ship just kind of disappeared into thin air. And it's a really popular urban legend here in Pictou County. And actually, as I was doing some research on it, it is, you know, I've seen other sites in Canada and the United States, you know, talk about this. So, you know, there have been stories over the last couple hundred years. And the most recent one I want to say that I saw was from back in 2008. So, you know, it was a few years ago, but it's kind of gone quiet, but people still kind of talk about it. But the actual sighting, the last one that I could find documentation about was 2008. So, you know, there's been a couple of people who they talk about the Mary Celeste. I don't know if anybody's, well, it's a famous ship, the Mary Celeste.
Hmm.
That was a ship built here in Nova Scotia as well, but it sailed under the British flag. So, and it's not the Mary Celeste, absolutely, because that ship actually, the urban legend goes, it was kind of like abandoned off in the waters off Haiti. And that ship disappeared kind of, they call it like either a water spout. Some people say that was paranormal activity. Other reports say it was like giant squid that kind of, you know, took out the crew. But again, it's an urban legend.
Wow.
Who knows? I don't know. But just funny about the Mary Celeste, just on the topic of like old time radio shows. There's actually 2 radio dramas from the 30s that are based on the Mary Celeste. And there's actually a Hammer film starring Bela Lugosi, The Mystery of the Mary Celeste and the Phantom Ship. So,
Huh.
but that's the Mary Celeste piece. But let's see, the ghost ship here in the Northumberland Strait. So yeah, you guys. Oh,
Do you know what old time radio shows have the ship in, or you didn't?
you know
run
what? I
That's okay.
couldn't find it.
Okay.
But there are 2. If I can find it, I will let you know because I was
Okay.
like, Really?
Yeah, but in the chat, someone thought that maybe CBS Radio Mystery Theater might
Oh,
have an
maybe.
episode, and then someone else in the chat said Bela Lugosi was in a film about the Marie Celeste.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
Did
Phantom
you say
Ship.
that? Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Phantom Ship. Yeah, from
Yeah,
19.
it's funny. There's ghost ship sightings like all over the globe. I mean, so it's a very cool thing. I mean, you've narrowed it down to a specific urban legend, the Mary Celeste, one of the most popular.
Well,
But
that's right.
yeah, ghost ships are very cool.
Oh, they
That's really
are.
interesting. Yeah,
With
and
that
the
said,
fact that it's on fire. What did he say?
I'm not sure the headset didn't pick up.
I said, with that said, goodbye.
Yeah, he's always saying goodbye, and then he always comes back again. But but the interesting addition is not that it just floats by at a certain speed or on a certain day or whatever. The fact that it's on fire.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, that's really a different twist. Yeah.
It is. And, so the people that actually, like, there's been, sailing ships, there's been like parties on shore, they see this burning ship on fire out in the Northumberland Strait, and they go to rescue it, and it just kind of disappears off into thin air.
Oh, hey, Natalie.
Oh boy, my niece made it in. I will try to look. I will try to look annoyed, and I can't possibly because she's the best.
Blow her some kisses. Hello,
I know, I'm like,
Natalie.
oh, that Natalie, you should be doing your schoolwork, but I can't say that because she's the best.
Oh, look, it is a CBS Radio Mystery Theater.
In 74. Okay.
Steve
Yeah.
Fever. If I had a pen, I would write that down, but I'll have to go back, and I'm sure Dino might play that if he can find it. I'm sure he can find it, but I think that would be cool.
Very cool.
Oh,
Well, now I'm all overwhelmed because my niece showed up.
Your niece is here.
She's the greatest. I mean, all my nieces are the greatest, but she's my greatest of my middle nieces.
The greatest.
I have one, and she's the greatest. But I would pick her anyway.
She says, I am the best.
I'm the best. Yes.
Of course.
She knows that I think that. So.
Jeez. Well, hopefully she's enjoying some of the urban legend stories. But yeah, so yeah, there's been people from the shores, like going back like over 200 years. Not only can they see the fire, the burning ship off in the distance, they can hear the screams of the men on the ship. They can hear what sounds like cannon fire.
Wow.
So yeah, but nobody really knows what the ship is, what the name of the ship is. There's no documentation of like any ships going down in the water, like right there with that kind of background in that story. Yeah. But I mean, the Maritimes here, there's tons of shipwrecks and there's tons of stories like Dina was saying.
Right.
And, some people say that whatever ship this is has unfinished business. That's why it keeps showing up. And it's funny though, because like it only shows up at certain times of the year from what I could find. And it's usually kind of like the early fall. So one of the predictors is when you see the ship off in the horizon on fire, there's a pending nor'easter coming. So they think that when you see this ship, it's actually an omen that we're in for a really bad nor'easter coming in off the Atlantic Ocean. So, and that's possible.
Yeah, and I got some land to sell you too.
Oh, geez. Some nice, beautiful swampland to build a castle, I bet.
Well, it's interesting you picked that as your first thing because I mean it ties in kind of to like the paranormal too. It's
right.
Yeah.
Well,
there's so many ghostly activity on ships, submarines, just around the water in general, and it's because water is a harbinger of energy. I mean, more so than land, water is going to be a creator of energy, electricity, all of that stuff. So if you've got residual energy and or paranormal activity, whatever, around water, you're going to see that more. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
And in addition to that, the water kind of has like, I mean, it's indicative of movement and change. Pardon me?
Magical properties.
Magical properties. And like, yeah, because it's one of the we haven't yet explored the depths of all of it, right? There's mysteries there. There's like so many levels of mystery in the sea, and the sea,
so much unexplored.
Yeah, it's so unexplored relative to its size. And then you've got different experiences, different people, different cultures. How do they mix and mingle? They have to sail across the seas.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, there's like all kinds of different theories about, I mean, there's so much unexplored underneath the ocean. I mean, there's all kinds of myths and legends and stuff. But yeah, and somebody was mentioning last week, and I want to say it might have been Frank McLeod, maybe, that was mentioning on one of the streams. And I think it might have been the paranormal stream on Thursday, talking about like St. Elmo's fire. So that's another phenomenon here that, when people see the ship out into the water, it might actually be like the St. Elmo's fire that he was referring to. And it's just kind of like it resembles like lightning, or even kind of like the Northern Lights. It can actually do like the plasma fireballs. So, and it's possible, like it really is. And, one other thing that I found about this too, some people call it Fatma Morgana. So that's an Italian word for like Morgan Le Fay. It's an optical illusion. And, that's kind of been documented in so many different places too. And, nobody really knows what it is. It's just one of those things. And it's, it's kind of near and dear. Like one of the beaches that I go to, it's right on the Northumberland Strait. And, I'm always looking for it. I've never seen it, but
absolutely. It's like how I felt when I went to Loch Ness and I was looking for the monster. I totally did that.
Oh, geez.
So because it's a part, like if you have a geography that you have an affection for, or you have a history with, or whatever, it makes a difference. Like there are, I think I mentioned on a previous episode that I live near a neighborhood that's considered one of the most haunted, maybe in the country.
Right.
And, or at least competitively. I don't know that. I mean, New England sometimes, says because of its age that it's got, the most, but, we have stories around real people mostly, but also ones that are quite fanciful, like that involve Abraham Lincoln and, but it's, it's amazing.
I'm from New England. I'm the most haunted. Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the like the colonial and the old towns and all that kind of stuff. Oh.
No, I get you. No, exactly. And there is some truth to it, because a lot of activity happened in that area during that time period. But
absolutely,
doesn't mean there's not other places that are
right.
A bit
Old Montreal. Old Montreal is a prime example of like when they talk about like the most haunted with the paranormal activities. There's so many urban legends. I didn't even touch on Montreal.
And yes, I'm crazy. Everybody's watching. If you're new here, Dino's a nut. And Connie mentioned Coral Castle. Coral Castle kind of is not an urban legend. It's a real place that a man took his entire lifetime to build,
Really?
And kind of the same components, with the Egyptian pyramids and stuff, like stones that are just balanced perfectly.
Oh, really?
Two-tone stones. Well, it's down in Florida. Might have to talk to Ed, and Ed's going to have to take some pictures down there.
I would love that. Because oh, sorry, go ahead.
Did you ever hear that before, of Coral Castle?
I have not. I have
look
not.
It up. This guy, they still have no idea how he did a lot of this stuff. He did it all by himself, one man. lifted up 2-ton rocks. He's got a chair made out of stone that, I mean, nobody can move. And he said he did it, with what did he say? Magnetics and mathematics and other things. And he says it's kind of how they probably did it over in Egypt. But a very interesting story. Go check it out, definitely.
Yeah, another one that I find fascinating, and this is not, well, I don't know if it would be an urban legend or not, but it's like the Winchester House. Like, you've heard of the Winchester House? Like, I'm so fascinated.
Sorry,
by
I got to join in. Yeah, this is also interesting.
I love
The Winchester House too is an awesome. Yeah, go on, Tracy.
Yeah, well, one of these days I would love to go visit the Winchester House. I just, again, I saw the movie. The movie doesn't do the whole story justice, but, I just, that's one place I need to go look at for myself. Just, there's so many great stories about it.
Kept building and building and building to keep away the evil spirits or the spirits.
That's right.
Who haunted the family. And I think I would be claustrophobic because so many dead ends in there and didn't lead to nothing, and stairways that went up and hit a wall. And I'm like, I'd be claustrophobic, right? Right, Lisa?
I think it would be kind of like scary, right? I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be disorienting. And then all of a sudden your heart rate goes up and you're like, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
This house is giving me a panic attack. I'm out of here now.
Yeah.
No, but no, absolutely. So would you like to tell one of your urban legends because I would love to hear some of yours.
Sure. Well, I'm going to totally cheat and use my wonderful book. I was telling Tracy and Dino that, both of you, that this book kind of categorizes. So by themes and types, general directions of the story, whether the story's meant to be a little saucy or whether it's meant to be scary or whether it's meant to like teach a lesson in a weird way or something like that. But
I want some saucy urban legends.
No,
I'm not wearing pearls tonight. So.
Yeah. No, I
meant like gravy. And
not for you. Not for you. But I'm going to name a disclaimer here because this one's a little bit on the gross side. So plug your ears. It's a short one. Plug your ears if you don't like gross. But gross stuff makes me laugh. So
yes, absolutely.
So there are several urban legends in this book about spiders. And this is one I remember from when I was a kid many years ago. So the author's got several versions of this, but they're pretty short, but you get the gist of it. And this professor had people who would write in and say, we've got this story. Have you seen this one before? So he could kind of start to catalog and categorize. So this spider bite story goes like this. My daughter came home and related a story to her friend, a story that her friend had told her. That's always the way, right? It's a friend of a friend, right?
That's right.
So my daughter came home and related a story her friend had told her. I don't believe it, but she does because she says her friend wouldn't lie. Here it is. The friend's sister-in-law noticed a very deep pimple developing on her cheek. After 2 weeks, it finally came to a head. And when she popped it, tiny spiders ran out onto her face. She screamed and fainted. It seems a spider had laid its eggs under her skin 2 weeks earlier when she had been camping and had been sleeping on the ground. Please tell me it's not true.
The creepy crawlies just from hearing that. Oh gosh, now I'm like, I
know. And part of the creepiness is that you're like, could it happen? Maybe.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
I'm scared.
Oh my word. And other ones that totally grossed us out when we were kids and we loved them was like, what is that in my bucket of fried chicken? Oh my gosh. Is it a rat? Or like I'm drinking my Coke bottle, and what's at the bottom of it but a mouse?
Oh, oh my gosh. That reminds me of like, I remember this one from when I was like a kid, and it always followed me into the work environment too. It was like the old story of a lady who, was always like licking the envelopes to seal them, and, a repetitive. And then, she was noticing like this issue, and there was like cockroaches and cockroach eggs like erupting from her tongue. And I thought about that one day, and I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Oh,
Where's my glue stick?
Scotch tape. Thank you very much.
It's like,
Oh my gosh. But when you're a kid, these things are gold. They're absolute gold.
well, that's it. And I mean, like that one just resonated with me. And I was just, it was something you don't think about. And then all of a sudden it just kind of like, it just pops into your mind. And then once it re-pops into your mind again, it's like, okay, never again. Just never again.
Yeah, Tracy, you make a good point, man. The urban legends, the stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
for children, it's just, I mean, we all got them, right?
That's
Turn off
it.
the light. Oh my God. Turn off the light and say Bloody Mary 3 times.
Oh,
Let's do it. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Candyman,
I love
Candyman.
this.
I got that one. Yeah.
We all did that, right? I mean, Bloody Mary. And I did it with
Absolutely.
my sister and my brothers, and they freaked out every single time. I'm the oldest, so
Yeah.
they're like, "I see it! Oh my God!" They start out, and I'm like,
Well,
"What's
that's
wrong with
it.
you guys?"
Well, like at sleepovers and stuff like that. I mean, we would
Yeah.
always, do like the Bloody Mary or the Candyman, and people would stop at the second one. They wouldn't go any further
Right.
because they would like panic, and I would panic too. I'd be, where's my pearls? Panic. But
Weird stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is a stretch, but do you think that the Bloody Mary thing like played into Beetlejuice? Like didn't he go, Beetlejuice, and then he showed up?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's
Yeah.
that's where he got that from. Just change the name and call him out. But I mean, Candyman too.
Right. Right.
So yeah, they've plucked urban legends and popped them into plenty of horror movies. So
Oh my gosh.
because they make great horror movies, right?
Too. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Like that's where some of them come from. Like, The Ring, like that's another, like that was a creepy movie, but it's based on like urban legends and stuff. And it's just,
That was creepy.
oh, that was so
Yeah.
creepy. And again, the Grudge.
Ringo.
Yes, the originals. Like
Yeah.
those movies, just so creepy. And you think about the legends where they came from too, right? And it's just kind of like sends shivers down my spine. Like those are 2 movies I could only watch one time, and I can't.
Yeah. I mean, there's a nugget of something in urban legends, right? That it's just this side of it could maybe happen. Like it's, and you and I were talking about it. It's based in reality. It's based in things that we have all agreed upon as being real. Buildings, our homes, our schools, like things that we agree upon.
That's
and
right.
we all quote unquote believe in, because if you don't have a belief in something, it can be less shocking or less, less interesting or whatever. But it's based in this like shared reality, but it's just this side of maybe that's incredible, or maybe that could happen on Tuesday. Like it's just
That's
right
it.
there. Yeah. And that's the creep factor. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and the people and like everybody in the chat,
I
absolutely.
know. I just went on a big rant, a bunch of people. But then Black Rosa says, "Dear woman," and then RTN goes, "I think he's joking." Aardvark man. So maybe it's true. I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, there's so many. I mean, like Connie was talking about Slender Man, Chupacabra. The Skinwalker.
Slender Man, though.
Yes.
Slender Man. There's a story behind that, and it's a true story. But the actual Slender Man himself
Mhm.
is part of urban legend now because nobody's actually ever seen Slender Man.
Right.
But
Well,
the kids who actually did the murders
mhm.
say that, yeah, there's a whole mythos on that. But yeah.
Well, yeah, there is, because it's funny when I was looking up Slender Man, that was actually it is an urban legend, but he was actually used to promote like a movie, like it was like an internet contest, and then it just kind of like ballooned off from there. Like people were
Right.
having, all these sightings and stuff like that. And it was like, wow, is he real or is he not? And, I was like, oh, I don't even know. And it's like, and then there's like the Hat Man. And, it's so bizarre. But, and I don't know. Have you guys heard of like the old hag from Newfoundland? Like the old hag?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've heard the
Yeah.
old hag. She lives next door.
Oh, stop. That's so mean.
Oh, my word. But even
Actually,
like,
she lives next door. She's in the grocery store. She's at the one. Yeah, she's everywhere.
Oh, geez.
well, and even stuff that doesn't have like a full story around it, like Chad
Mhm.
earlier in the chat, was talking about
Yeah.
spontaneous combustion. And I've seen a meme on social media that cracks me up. They're like, I really thought things like Bigfoot
Mhm.
and quicksand and spontaneous combustion were going to be more of a problem in my adult life than they really are, based on what we talked about in the 70s. So yeah, so
Oh,
even
yeah.
just these little nuggets
Well,
rather than
and
a full blown story. But someone
yeah.
mentioned alligators in the sewer. There's a whole
Yes.
section of this book about the alligators in the sewer.
Oh my goodness, the porta
Yep.
potty demon. Oh, I need
No
to know.
way.
Do I need to know more about that? I think I
No,
Yeah,
do,
no,
but I don't know.
CM's got to
no,
be joking. CM's
no,
got to be joking.
no.
But the alligators in the sewer thing, I
Yeah.
mean, those are actually real things. It blew out it blew up into an urban legend, but people would always flush their, animals and reptiles and stuff like
That's
that
it.
down the toilet and would end up in the sewers.
Yeah,
And it was such a big city that they would actually just throw it in the sewer, not down the toilet, but in the sewer grates on the side of the road and all that. So,
that's
uh,
right.
with all the rats that live in the city and all that, they had plenty to live on. And
Mhm.
I forget the biggest alligator they actually found in New York, but it was pretty big.
Yeah,
But
it was.
scary.
I did do some research on that too, and it's like at first they said it's an urban legend. It's really, nothing. But then there are reports and actual pictures of alligators pulled out of the sewer, and it's like, of course there is. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
so weird,
See, this
so
is not
weird.
helping me relax because when an urban legend can actually come true, oh, zoinks.
Oh,
Oh,
zoinks! Scoop!
oh my gosh! And RTN, like he mentioned, like the hook on the door handle, like
Oh, yes. Yeah.
that's
Those
another
like
thing.
ones around automobiles. This book has like all around automobiles, and it seemed to be like cautionary tales, right?
Mhm.
Almost like to keep the teenagers in line or to keep the behavior in line,
That's
like,
right.
they think something's happened. They hear a scraping in the car. They're out late. They shouldn't be. They're past curfew. And then
Mhm.
the next morning on the outside of the car, there'll be like a scratch down the side or an axe head in the back or blood on the door handle or
That's
whatever. And then they're
that's
like,
right.
what happened? Yeah.
Oh gosh, I know, like, like the whole automobile thing too, like another one of the favorite stories that you hear over and over and over and over again, and there's always like different factors, but it's
Right.
like, people picking up hitchhikers and,
Oh,
on
yeah.
the side of the road, the honest to goodness Good Samaritan, and they take these people, they hear their stories, take them to wherever it is they're going, and oh my gosh, there's something that's left over. So they go to return it the next day. And lo and behold, they find out that this person had died like 100 years ago, 50 years
Mhm.
ago, 20 years ago. And, there's so many stories about that. And, I have to wonder, is there truth to that? Like,
Like, where's the nugget? Like, yeah, like what happened to springboard that off? Did like something actually, because that's the way it is around
That's it.
here with the ghost stories that I know that's not urban legends,
Mhm.
but the ghost stories of this part of
Oh,
our state are all based in actual history, like stuff that really happened, the history
yeah.
books point to, but then what part of the story actually is just, it's like a layer cake. And where does the
That's right.
unrealness begin? Yeah, but the ones that I was always that sent shivers up my spine when I was a kid were the ones that were like, well, the gross ones were fun, but the ones that were like the cautionary tales that like the next morning you see that you just escaped death, like, or
Yeah.
you just escaped tragedy and you were unaware of the risk, and that one and the one that was mentioned in the chat earlier,
Mhm.
the voice is coming from somewhere in the house on the phone, because
Yeah.
I babysat, and so
Jeez.
oh my gosh.
Oh,
So, but yeah,
man.
when you're a babysitter and you're still pretty young as a babysitter, and you hear
Yeah.
like, don't answer the phone, like,
That
because
absolutely.
because we didn't have cell phones. It wasn't like, you're not, yeah.
Because you're a 13-year-old babysitter and you're like babysitting little kids and you're supposed to be like this big tough person, and
Yeah.
it's your mind starts to race and think about those stories, and of course those always like sent shivers down my spine. And
Yeah. Yeah. So
oh,
I just stuck with the fried rat in the bucket of chicken and the spider bites and the mouse and the Coke.
oh yes, oh my gosh, like, oh, there's so many, and like, and then there's like the random stuff too, where as a kid you're told, when you chew gum, if you swallow it, it takes 7 years to digest, right?
Right. That's right. That's
That,
right.
and
That's
it's like that's not true, but it's like one of
yeah.
those stories that
Oh,
your
thank
parents
God it's
tell
not
you.
true. Oh,
I
I,
know.
oh my
Isn't your belly
God.
feel better now?
Oh, well, there's still a brick in there, but anyways, I feel better.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Those things that you'd hear, like, your first day in your new school or in your new
Mm,
class or something, and you're like, wait, what are you saying? What's up? And you have no way to like verify. There's no, it just,
mhm.
people are telling stories and it's kind of swimming around and they're trying to make an impression and,
That's right.
like,
And so
oh, great. Now I have that to worry about. Super.
and so Roger said, oh yeah, watermelons and
Mountains
apple
to ballet.
seeds. And
Yeah.
so Roger says, what about those weird gatherings where people are out in random places and they wear clothes that look like they are from a different time and place? Yes. You hear about that all the time too, right?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Lisa. I know I keep popping in.
What? Don't apologize. It's like, it's only your channel.
And I bet you have a cool story to add to that, because I've always been fascinated about that. It's like, is that true? I've never seen it, but
Well, it's certainly not an urban legend. It's something out there in the paranormal field where these pictures do pop up where people are,
Mhm.
it's like 1950, but this guy seems to be holding a cell phone,
Right.
Exactly.
but the pictures are so aged that could be anything. And
Right.
nowadays you can kind of configure anything. You can put a person who looks like he's in the Civil War in
Mm-hmm.
a picture in the city or something like that. But you can kind of distinguish between a ghost photo that maybe is real or even not, and the photos
Yeah.
that like Roger's talking about. They're interesting stories because
Oh yeah,
there's firsthand accounts of stuff like that happening.
that's right.
Those are
Absolutely.
interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's true. And I don't know if this is a random brain firing or not, but do you know what I think of with that photo piece?
Mhm.
I don't think I'm spoiling anything by talking about the end of the movie The Shining, but there's a picture.
It's been out long enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too soon. We haven't
Yeah,
all seen it
been
yet.
out.
Oh
Well,
my
hey,
gosh.
you want me to give my one and only? I mean, there's plenty here in Ohio, but let me give mine before the show's over here, because it's about Helltown, which I'm
Oh
sure you guys
yes.
have all heard
Mhm.
of, and I'm going to read it because it kind of explains it a little bit better, and then I'll tell my story real quick. But it was the area known as Helltown today was once known as Boston Mills, 15 minutes away from me. Before the town was bought out by the U.S. government to make way for Cuyahoga Valley National Park, the once
Mhm.
thriving town eventually turned into a ghost town. And I'll tell you about that. Today, some people claim that the government actually closed the town after some sort of chemical accident that caused the citizens to mutate. And some people claim to have actually seen disfigured, mutated people still hiding in the area. Legend has it that there is also a decaying church with an upside down cross, which is there within the abandoned town that was once and possibly still used for satanic worship. So, yeah, satanic worship did go on there.
Wow.
That church is there,
Mhm.
and it's there because I went there, and it was one of the scariest days of my life. Uh,
Wow.
when I just let's see, I just turned 18,
Mhm.
and you're at the top of the world. You can do anything, and I've been in the paranormal my whole life. You know what I mean? So we went there. I forget exactly who was there. My brother was there, and somebody else, and not mentioning names. And we went there, and the drive there, okay, like I said, 15-20 minutes away from me here, Cleveland, Boston Mills, you can look on the map. It's very close. Uh, so going to that village, that Helltown, okay,
Mhm.
first off, it's so darn scary the drive there, because once you get on the road that leads to the blocked off road that goes the rest of the way into the town,
Mhm.
that stretch of road, you're like covered with these trees that are like looped over the road.
Oh
And
wow.
Ooh.
it's you talk about scary. It is
Mhm.
so scary, and it goes downhill as you're going through this, and you're like going, man, this ain't good to begin with.
Oh.
But we finally reached there, and we parked the car because you can't go anywhere. There's like no parking off this.
Mhm.
It's just there's concrete barriers right there in front of it, and oh yeah, no, this is a real town, and like the urban legend states, I mean, the government did come in, and there is a
Mhm.
lot of things that uh, factually, if you look up
Mhm.
records and stuff like that, that do say that the government did shut it down. They say it was because of the national park system, but they never did anything to this day with that area as a national park. Okay,
Mhm.
didn't
Wow.
build it up, make it look interesting, nothing. It's just still blocked off, and stragglers go in to look about, but it takes a little while to get into where you start hitting like these weird little houses that are abandoned and like ramshackled and stuff like that. And
Really?
we went in, we saw the church that they talk about in the urban legend. We seen it, and of course it's all painted up with like satanic symbols and stuff like that, which is probably just graffiti by the time we got to it.
Right.
Mhm.
But there was still a lot of evidence and stuff around, and we felt so odd and so weird there. We never came
Mhm.
across any
Mhm.
weird people or nothing like that, but we only spent so much time there, maybe an hour and a half.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
And we said, let's get out of here. Like the one person we were with was so scared. They're just, let's get out of
Yeah.
here. And I agreed. I said, yeah, let's go. We're out. I was dreading the trip back because the ride was so spooky and scary. But that place is a real interesting place, and it has a lot of
Mhm.
stories behind it. And if you piece it all together, like you can do a full show on Helltown too, and what
Oh
the
wow.
military did when they came in, because it actually happened. People have pulled Freedom of Information Act requests for what happened during that time, and everybody had to leave.
Wow.
So that's stated, that's factual.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what came from that, the mutilated people, the deformed people, and everything like that, who knows? You know what I mean? But,
Oh,
yeah.
Say
wow.
again what era this was, or what century this was, or
This was back, I think, do believe in the 50s. This took place, like
Oh, really?
like
Okay.
when the military came in, it closed
Mhm.
down and all that. You know, I do believe it was in the 50s or so. Somebody may correct me if I'm wrong, but all I
okay.
know is I
So
went in
fairly
there.
recent. Fairly recent, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, well,
I mean, relative
Wow.
to some of the legends that you hear that are quite a long time ago, this is a
yeah,
more modern one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and an interesting one because of the facts behind it, and that stuff really did occur there. But now
Mhm.
it's become urban legend because, ooh, you visit over here in this area, you got to
That's
go
right.
visit downtown and see. I mean, they did a whole thing on either TLC or the Discovery Channel, one of those
Mhm.
that paranormal shows, maybe Travel Channel.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, they did a whole show on this, and they went and they got all the information. It was very
Mhm.
interesting. Anyways, I'm out of here. See ya.
Man, that's a place I would love to go investigate. It would be super creepy, but I would love to go investigate that. But wow. Now I have to do more research. Maybe I'll do more research on that tomorrow. Oh.
How
Um,
interesting.
yeah.
Mm.
So I've got another one. Unless actually, if Dino wants to play the video for tonight with the
Oh,
cat.
right.
So this one is a little bit different. So maybe he might like to cue that video up before we do another
We
story.
got pets. Oh, and can we mention, Tracy,
Yes.
either on your show, probably on your guys' show,
Mhm.
start sending in Halloween pictures,
Yes,
Okay.
please. Yes.
decorations, what you're
Yep.
doing, your display out in your front yard. You just, dress your pet up if you do that at Halloween, but start sending in pictures for Halloween, and we'll get that included in some of these too. I think that'll be
Yes.
fun. I think
Can't
there's
wait.
some in this, right,
There
Tracy?
is. Yep,
Yeah.
there is. Yeah.
Okay, so let me play that video. That was very cool.
That was a nasty little.
Listen, oh no, I was dancing. I was over there dancing, doing I
I
was
like that.
break dancing. I almost broke my neck, but
Oh, geez.
Kathy's cat was funny where the tongue was sticking out.
I know, right? Oh,
I got a cat that drools all the time when it gets close to me. And
I
Zara and
go,
Zillis,
true
yeah.
story. I have a cat who has nasal drip.
oh.
Oh,
He's always
WWM.
needed a Kleenex.
Oh my God. WWM says the email. It was in the video, but it's I will post it here. Will that go through? Let's see. There we go. There's my email.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. And then Connie's creations, that was a pleasant surprise, huh?
Those are
Halloween.
adorable. They're adorable. And she will have more on the way because I think she's got some pretty cool new
Halloween
little
ideas.
accessories and ideas coming. So
Oh,
can't wait
nice.
for those. And,
Yes.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Send them in. Absolutely.
Send them in. Send them in. So yeah, that's the email there, you guys. So send them in, please. Always look forward to these pictures, right, you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what's next on the agenda there?
Why don't we maybe touch on the Algonquin Resort in New Brunswick just for a few minutes?
But
Let's do it.
I'm scared.
Oh, me too, but it's exciting. You've
Okay.
got pictures, so everybody be able to see what the Algonquin Resort is. So there you go. This is referred to as Canada's version of The Shining. So this inn was built in the 1800s and is one of the most premium accommodations in St. Andrews, New Brunswick. Apparently, in 1914, there was a fire that destroyed the majority of the structure, but it was later rebuilt. There was a tower that was spared from the fire, and there are reports of lights flashing in the tower at night. Some say there is a woman in a white dress that can be seen wandering by the tower's windows. So I imagine it's probably like one of those two peaks that were in that video. But the most famous urban legend story is that of the inn's bellboy. And it said that he greets the guests, shows them around, and then he just kind of like disappears into thin air as people are ready to kind of give him his tip or whatever. But guests are encouraged to leave him a small tip on the counter for when he reappears the next time. So that's kind of pretty cool. And let me see. And there's other stories about like a night watchman who, kind of wanders up and down the halls, and an elderly lady who takes care of the dining room. And, people just say that they just kind of like hang around there because they were so happy doing the jobs that they did.
I have
And
an elderly woman that walks around cleaning things up too. What? Oh, that's real.
Oh, for Pete's sake. But I
Hey,
think
let's not bring Pete in on this. He didn't do anything wrong.
I think it's so interesting though that like, in different stories, like, well, we've seen these figures and it's because they were so happy they don't want to leave. And
That's
others
right.
are like, there's unfinished business.
That's
Or
right.
there was tragedy and they're not able to leave the space. It reminds me of when we totally were ornery on a trip, and we were at the Hotel Alex Johnson it was oh my goodness, it was in the Dakotas. I'm blanking out on exactly Rapid City, South Dakota. And we got wind of the haunted room, the legend of the room. And so, of course, we're trying to be nonchalant and go up everybody who worked there is like, we know what you ladies are doing. Like, you're not fooling anyone. And we're like, do-do-do-do-do. We're just like pressing the button on the elevator, like, let's just look around. They're like, you don't have any luggage. You're not from this floor. Like, and so we're like trying to peer in the window, or not in the window, but in the door. Like, is there any sort of like way? And then we thought, we're never going to pull this off. So that's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite something. It's a wonderful establishment. Highly recommend.
Wow.
Rapid City is adorable, an adorable town. But of course, when we heard a haunted legend, we had to check it out.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, that and the chocolate shop in the base of the building called the Chubby Chipmunk. We had to do that too. But yeah, no such luck with a sighting. Yeah.
Oh wow. Did you like get any weird feelings or anything? But you just
no, we just got funny looks from the people who were there. They were like, ladies, hightail it out of there. This is in your floor.
Yep. Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's places like that, that have those kind of urban legends, and there's always again like that little piece of history that kind of makes it just that much more real. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, even at this Algonquin Inn, like this luxury resort, I mean, because and it's interesting they call it Canada's version of The Shining. They talk about the ghost or the apparition of a young boy running up and down the hall,
Yeah.
you know, with a ball, right? So
Right.
that kind of sounds a little bit familiar. And just like those random ghostly calls, you know, to the front desk from like unknown lines in the building. And there's like one really creepy story, and it kind of like tails onto what you said, like a specific room. So there is one in the Algonquin Inn. It's room number 473. So 473. It's called the Bride's Room. And you have to check this out. This is interesting. The legend states that she was stood up at the altar and she was extremely heartbroken. And, you know, guests can hear her weeping. Oh, chocolate. Yes, chocolate makes everybody feel better, though. It really does.
Oh, sorry, I was just getting hungry.
She can be heard weeping, you know, up and down the hallway. And, you know, there are, you know, people who have said that she took her own life and jumped from one of those towers up on the fourth floor to her death. And, you know, is it true? Nobody really knows. There's no documented records. But it's funny. I did read one story the other night about that, and it came from a woman who was actually she had her wedding ceremony, and this was probably within the last number of years at this inn. And you know, the story goes that she actually saw this apparition of the woman in the wedding dress, but it was just a very fleeting image.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't feel scared or upset or anything, but she was aware of this urban legend, and she just felt that this apparition was just coming to check on her to make sure that she was kind of like doing the right thing, right? So, and
Oh.
you know, so it's people can take that with a grain of salt. It's like some of them are scary, some of them are not. I mean, just like you mentioned earlier. And what's funny, just as a little trivia note for you guys, um, the Stephen King, actually stayed at that inn
Mm-hmm.
before he wrote the novel The Shining. So,
Yeah.
you know, I
So
thought
did
that was pretty
Stephen
cool.
King.
So,
Stephen King, the horror writer, he stayed there too.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That
Yeah.
would be one place that I would love to kind of like stay at. Just, just that piece of me who would love to explore it, just to see, you know, what's really going on.
Yeah.
And if I was not aware that it was kind of like Canada's Shining, like I didn't know that until I researched this place. So that makes it even more intriguing for me to, you know, want to pick up and just go sometime, maybe next summer, go on an adventure, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Well, it is. Yeah. It is
oh
interesting.
wow. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Erica said her sister honeymooned in the Shining Hotel.
Oh. Wow. That's.
That's awesome. Maybe not the honeymoon part, but staying in that hotel, that's awesome.
Oh man. Well, it's you think about these places that have the stories around them,
Waka
and they're
waka.
often places where. Oh, what did he say? Did he? Oh,
Honeymoon suite. I said waka waka.
Let me turn my air conditioner back on.
yeah. We need an eject button. Rocket ship. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But
This show is off the hook, people. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors.
but like these stories, are in places of like intrigue, like where people come together that would never have met before,
That's
or
right.
people are coming together for a special occasion, or a grand something something, or they're off on an adventure, or yeah, they mix and mingle with and have unexpected encounters, and so you don't tend to have these urban legends showing up like in a cul-de-sac or something. But
That's right.
I mean, sometimes you do, and like I said, the urban legends that really would get under my skin as a kid are the ones that seemed utterly believable, like they
Mhm.
could just happen on any given day.
Gee.
So
Yes, Peter. Sorry.
yes,
Go ahead.
but it's the more
The key
fantastic ones.
word there is at will.
Okay.
Mm. But yeah, those are the ones that could happen just because you went and picked up a dinner for your family or something. The ones that are more extravagant, it's like, nah, that would never happen. But I think that at the end of the day is the coolness of the urban legend because, like we
Mhm.
said before, it just skirts the side of believable, unbelievable. Or like, oh, that could never,
Mhm.
maybe that could,
Oh
like,
my gosh.
yeah,
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I wasn't going to talk about airplanes or anything, but yeah, there's ones about airplanes and like, those cocoon tanning beds, like there's all kind you see them in the movies, you hear
yes,
stories, like, you know,
yeah.
the
There's one
movies.
in the there's
Yeah.
one in the book about a tanning bed that was so gross. I didn't choose to read it.
No, I
Uh,
think I know that one.
yes, 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 yes.
Oh my god. Oh, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Did you have another one that you wanted to share? Or
No, I really the ones that I wanted to mention were the ones that I did the spider bite one, and then the ones
Mhm.
that I just mentioned as or remembered as
Yeah.
a kid. The elaborate story around the food
Yes.
and the food or the pop can or the pop bottle or whatever. But some of the other ones that I came across in my research, as I mentioned, a little too saucy for the air. Oh no, he did it. Oh.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh dear.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Mummified remains going
yeah,
on.
it's just a mummy.
Like, oh.
So yeah, I can say though, one last one quickly that spans the
Mhm.
gap between urban legend and piece of history
Mhm.
and ghost story kind of thing. Just to lift out one interesting little tidbit near where I live, the really haunted kind of
Yeah.
neighborhood that it comes alive at Halloween. It really does. And the neighborhood is named after the way that it's named is because the streets are reminiscent of the curved lanes of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh,
And
really?
so, yeah. And one of the supposed things that happened is
Mhm.
now I think this is fact that the Lincoln funeral train went through the town, the heart of the town.
Really?
But
Okay.
supposedly, I guess I think Lincoln die in April? For some reason, April sticks in my mind. But
Mhm.
like around April 15th, I think the story was told to me.
Mhm.
Late at night, certain time at night, you will see the funeral train come through, adorned with all the dark stuff, and
Wow.
and it will be present along those tracks. And people have seen it at certain times in the middle of the night. So that one
Oh,
stuck with me.
creepy. That is well, see, again, have you ever actually witnessed it? I'm sorry? No.
No,
Hmm.
none of that. None of that. I've got no firsthand anything.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, no, I've got one more story that I'll share, and this is actually it's only about 45 minutes to an hour from where I'm located. Um, it's located in Antigonish County here in Nova Scotia. Um, I've not been to this particular location. I didn't explore it with the paranormal group, and I didn't go on my own because it is private property. The owner of the property doesn't want anybody on it, and it's a big topic. It's a big topic. This urban legend is referred to as the fire spook of Caledonia Mills, but it's also referred to as the Mary Ellen Spook Farm. So the story surrounds the McDonald family and their adopted daughter, Mary Ellen. The community is called Caledonia Mills, and they reportedly experienced unexplained, fires and paranormal activity in multiple areas of the farm between the years of 1899 and 1922. So some of the unusual occurrences reported in the barn area of the farm included the livestock being locked out of the barns. They were found in different stalls. Some of the livestock, like the horses, their tails were actually, braided together. In January of 1922, a fire started very mysteriously in the farmhouse, and it wasn't in the fire pit. It wasn't anywhere near the stove. It was kind of like spontaneous combustion. And it happened with wet towels. So like wet towels would spontaneously combust, or just like, wallpaper on the walls would just automatically catch fire and just, burst into flames. And the family, they were shaken. So they moved out of the farmhouse, and investigators did research. They needed an explanation. So they had like law enforcement, they had clergy, they had paranormal investigators. And remember, this was like back in 1922. So, I can't even imagine like how the paranormal investigators, like, I didn't actually even know that they existed, but they must have in some form, right? To just go in and try to find out what all of this activity was about. So there were a group of citizens in the community that thought that Mary Ellen was possessed and caused all this poltergeist activity. Yes, that this is this is a very creepy story. It's a world-renowned story. And I'll tell you why at the very end.
It's known across the universe, is what it is.
The universe. That's right. Maybe they'll find destiny there. I don't know. But anyway, so they thought that she caused the disturbances herself. Like some other groups of citizens thought she was just like a fire starter. She had some challenges in her life. She was an adopted child and had a whole different like history. So people thought that maybe it was just her acting out. And again, back in 1922. So she actually kind of earned the nickname Mary Ellen Spook by the locals. And she was eventually confined to an insane asylum for a period of time. They locked her away, and, they thought maybe that would take care of everything. And then the family eventually moved away, and all paranormal and all bizarre activity, all the fires, it stopped. There was nothing else. They stopped.
It's so sad. No, I'm being serious. It's sad when you start getting into these stories and stuff like that on everything that happened in the late 1800s into the beginning of the century, with a lot of sick patients or people who ended up in insane asylums, mental institutions, or they called them just regular hospitals back in the day, state run, and up through the 60s.
Absolutely.
And you had people who did not deserve to get lobotomies, and it's just a sad state of affairs. It's part of history.
That's right.
It's even the electroshock therapy that went on up and through even through the 80s. It's I don't know. It's crazy, but and Highboy Donuts is not an urban legend.
No, it is not.
One time we'll have to do a show partially dedicated to donuts.
Absolutely. Donuts, and Donald Duck apple juice, I believe.
Yeah. Well, the chat's been fabulous. Lots of nuggets, lots of like ideas to explore, things to look up and stories.
Oh, yeah.
So the chat's been fabulous tonight. Thanks to everybody who's contributed. And if you didn't contribute in the chat, but we're here, we're glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, I know, because I'm going to have to go back and, take some notes in that, because I'm curious. People have mentioned like so many great little urban legends going on, and, even different like paranormal stories. It's with just like this one little monitor. I didn't catch all of the chat tonight, but it has been going really fun. So I'm going to have to do that. But Anyway, I'm gonna make one last mention, just about the Mary Ellen Spook Farm. Just um, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the buddy that did Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
He was actually invited to go explore the farm, the McDonald farm. And I don't know because I couldn't find out if he actually did. All I know is that he expressed great interest and that he wanted to go, but I don't know if he actually did. So if
Wow.
anybody knows that, or if anybody has heard of that, I would love to know. Just like, leave a
Well,
message at the
that's the
bottom.
urban legend, right? That's the urban
That's-
legend.
That's
Did
part
he
of
go
it.
or didn't he? Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
So, that kind of like, thank you for showing all those pictures too, Dino. That was
Oh, sure.
I
The
mean,
pictures
most
are
of the
awesome.
pictures. Some
Well,
of them
yeah,
were.
they're all great.
Some of
The
them are
candy
wholly
was-
unnecessary. Yes.
Well, the candy was necessary, but the little father reading the kids smiling the urban legend stories it was lovely.
I love how a father's going to adoringly read to his children about murder and mayhem. Oh, look, children.
Listen, all urban legends aren't about murder and mayhem.
The
Look,
good
children,
ones
I have
are.
a story for you.
So yeah, thank you for showing all those. Like, except for the bug one, yeah, that was kind of like
I
crazy.
went overboard.
But that's okay. So what do you have coming up this week, Dina? Because like we're almost like out of time for tonight, and
We are. It's 9:17.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we got time for 4 more urban. No, I'm joking. No, this has been an interesting talk for sure. Tomorrow, me and Ted
Mhm.
will be doing a movie discussion on All the Colors of Dark. It's another Giallo film. We are on a roll here with the Giallo film, so it's another good one. And Thursday is just usually we got a paranormal show, something going on. I don't have anything going on this week. I'm taking the day off.
Nice.
Not the night off. Okay, we'll still have the old time radio stream. People were confused yesterday.
Okay.
But no, that's every single night. You guys will always get that as long as I can. But so Thursday this week, Thursday's off. We'll have a paranormal show next week.
Yeah.
And Friday is movie night, and it's so surprising. Lisa, Tracy, I put a poll up of only 2 movies for Patreon members and channel members.
Yeah.
And it was between Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is, I love it, one of my favorites of all time, horror musicals, and Phantom of the Paradise, which a lot of people haven't seen.
I haven't seen it.
I rank it up there in a different way, just like I do Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's a horror musical, but it's a bit sadder, a little more emotional, whereas a Rocky Horror Picture Show is, just like this extravaganza stage show. But nevertheless, the poll is blowing out Rocky Horror Picture Show, Phantom of the Paradise.
Wow.
By a long shot. And I'm like, I'm pretty surprised.
Is that on both platforms?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm actually not surprised. I think that people maybe they're like, I've seen Rocky Horror. I've seen it since I was a teenager. Dino's suggesting something I've never heard of before, and I want to check out what he's got.
I think you're right, because I heard a few people say I've never seen this before, so I want to see this. So I think that's what's going on. But let me assure you guys that you will not be disappointed at all with Phantom of the Paradise. It is, and there are some tunes in there that are just fantastic. I mean, you guys will love it. So Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we will most likely be watching Phantom of the Paradise. So there you go.
Nice.
And Saturday, the Wolfman trivia night. So switching from the Mummy to the Wolfman. So yeah, that's going to be really fun. And then me and Ginger, as usual, on Sunday, doing our movie discussion. So yeah, I got a full week as always.
Oh, very nice. That'll be fun. I've never seen, well, I've never seen any of the Giallo movies, and I've never seen that one. So surprise. But that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So I'll just say that next Tuesday, Lisa and I will not be here. So we are, I'm actually going out to Vancouver for GateCon, the Stargate convention. I'm actually leaving first thing tomorrow morning. That's why I'm here tonight. So we will not be
Yeah,
having.
she's a gate geek.
It's all me. It'll be so fun. It'll be so fun. Although it's roughly about an 8-hour plane ride. So
Tracy thinks there's a real portal there.
there is. It's an urban legend, Dino.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture and I'll share a picture of the portal, and it'll be real to me anyway. Yeah. Oh,
Midnight Oblivion. Hello, new to the chat. Hail chat.
Yes.
Hail.
There's been lots of great people here tonight. I kind of saw a couple of new names, but it goes by so very fast.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You guys are going to both be here this coming Tuesday.
Yes.
Anything else going on there?
Yeah. So I have an obligation that's going to take me away for a little while, but all is well. But I will be back on October 18th.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
18th. Yes, I think that's right. The Tuesday. I've got the Tuesday right. So yeah. So I've got to take care of some business, and then I will be back and ready to go. But I'll be around the channel.
Nice.
I like to do the late night streams, and most reliably I'll do like the morning of the late night streams. Sometimes I'll miss the later night, but anyway, so I'm around, but I'll be back in the chair, as it were, on the 18th.
Oh, that'll be exciting. Then that's right before Halloween too. So
I know,
yeah.
Halloween show.
Nice. So many good things.
That's the other thing, and we'll miss you, Lisa. But
I miss you guys too.
I'm sure we'll fill in shows during that period, other than next week. So we'll have plenty going on still. So
yeah, you'll have lots of fun ways to mix it up. So that'll be great.
Yeah, there's a couple of like paranormal shows that are kind of like in the hopper for the time period that that you'll be away, and we're gonna try to have Earl back. So we're gonna do a little technical testing first, and if the technical testing doesn't work, he's gonna have to come to my location, and we will shoot it from there. So one way or another, you guys will all get to meet Earl for real this time. And
here's some stories is what we want.
Some real stories, real good stories coming right from his mouth, and pictures and videos. And there's a couple of other paranormal investigators that are friends of mine as well. So hopefully, get them in. The closer we get to Halloween, some interesting stuff, and who knows what will happen. Lots of stuff. So make sure you tune in. Always watch,
absolutely.
Always posts, what's coming up on his channel, just like on the homepage. He lists it out for, eons.
Yeah, 2 weeks ahead of time. Yeah. So you guys got plenty of notice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And WWM, that's very, very sweet. I'll miss this chat, but like I said, I won't be going away from the channel. I'll still be around. So, but I'm looking forward to being part of the show again on the 18th.
Yes, and you'll be joining like morning coffee and pop in.
Yeah, so the channel with morning coffee.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Everybody gets together right here on the Late Horror Show, and coffee talk, right?
That's early in the morning. Before the sun rises, the Late Horror Show channel is where Coffee Talk is at.
And tonight, overnight, just after this, in about half an hour, we are going. Timestamps are there. You guys will be listening to Red Herring, Detective Hodgepodge old time radio shows all night long. So there you go.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. See, you know what I'm saying?
Lots of fisticuffs going on in those episodes, I bet.
Oh God, I love when the fisticuffs come in and they punch, and the punch sounds like a slap is what I love.
That's right.
Yeah. And then when they rumble around on the ground, it's just, did they record two guys actually just hurry? Yeah, there you go. I mean, the business of making old time radio shows, man, if I could go back in time, oh, that would be one I would hit. Put me
Absolutely.
in a studio where they're making one of the biggest, old time radio shows of the era in the 40s, say,
Oh, yeah.
it would
Yeah.
just be fantastic. I would
Mhm.
love that.
Oh,
But
wow.
Peter says morning coffee is the best.
It
Aw, thanks,
is.
Peter.
And I
As a-
just, so I'm going to miss you, Lisa, but we'll chat on the phone and see you in chat. And, I want to say thank you to everybody here, too. Everybody, like, I can see some of this going on the side. Like, everybody's just been so very kind. And, RTN and Peter and Connie and Baba. Like, it's so good to see everybody. And it's so heartwarming. And, you guys just bring a smile to my face. And it's, I really enjoy this. So you guys are the best. So thank you. And thank
Yay.
you, Lisa. So anyway, we'll sign off for the night. And
Okay.
Dino's got to get ready for his gig here in half an hour. So yeah,
My gig.
your
Yeah.
gig.
The good old overnight stream as
Yes.
usual. Yeah, I'm trying to throw some spooky stuff in there coming up to Halloween here, but yeah, hopefully everybody likes what's going on. If there's not timestamps in there, it's just because I've been too busy to get them in there, and I figure everything that's on the channel as of now, the important stuff has been timestamped. So there are nights where I think it's interesting to be surprised. Like Steerpike said the other night, he goes, the surprise of the next show is awesome every once in a while. So I agree with him, and that's why I did it. So anyways, tonight's time stamped. You can see what you get. Heck,
Yeah.
there's even a Death Valley Days episode. And then we're ending with Great Gildersleeve early in the morning. So
Nice. I might be
there you
able
go.
to catch that. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh,
Depends on where I'm at. But
yeah.
I love the Great Gildersleeve. So thanks.
And
Oh,
safe
yeah.
travels, Tracy.
Thank you.
Okay, so you guys end the stream there, and
All right.
last
See ya.
word.